Josh Duggar filed for divorce without cause, but later found out that he did so because he was in love with another woman. But how reasonable do you think it is for another girl to break her beautiful family and get addicted to women? Please let us know by commenting down. So let's start the video, but before they do, there is one more thing. Counting On's Jinger Duggar Forsyth opens up about family struggles and shocking dating traditions. Jinger Duggar Forsyth, a former star of Counting On, is in the spotlight following her emotional revelations on a recent episode of the Unplanned podcast. The 26-year-old mother of three shared personal stories about her family's tough times, especially after her sisters Jill and Jinger released their memoirs. She also reflected on her faith and spoke about the unsettling dating traditions in her family. #family turmoil after Jill and Jinger's memoirs. During the podcast, Jinger discussed one of the most challenging periods for her family. She described how Jill and Jinger's books, which criticized the Institute in Basic Life Principles, IBLP, caused immense stress for her parents and siblings. It was super hard at that time, Jinger recalled, noting that her parents were under scrutiny for months after the memoirs were published. Despite the difficult situation, Jinger expressed gratitude, saying her sister's books helped her re-evaluate her beliefs and gain new insights about her faith. #The disturbing Duggar dating tradition. Jinger also opened up about the unusual dating customs enforced by her father, Jim Bob Duggar. She revealed that her dad would keep track of hundreds of men who wanted to date his daughters, including some who were prison inmates. Every day, the family would receive letters from random men, and her mother, Michelle, would read them first to weed out inappropriate ones. "My mom obviously would read them first, because she's like, this is weird, but then we all laugh about it," Jinger said, recalling the bizarre situation. Her husband, Austin Forsyth, added that Jim Bob had a strict vetting process for anyone interested in dating his daughters. When Austin first started courting Jinger, Jim Bob required a month-and-a-half-long relationship with him before allowing him to pursue his daughter. #breaking courtship rules. Jinger also shared a story about the first time she and Austin broke one of their family's strict courtship rules. She recalled holding hands with Austin for 15 minutes after he had totaled his truck. Although her father, Jim Bob, was there and seemed disappointed when he found out, the incident didn't escalate further due to the circumstances. These candid stories from Jinger Duggar Forsyth shed new light on the pressures and odd traditions within the Duggar family, as well as how the family has been impacted by recent events. Austin Forsyth reflects on courtship with Jinger Duggar and Jim Bob Duggar's strict checklist. Tontatown, Arkansas, Austin Forsyth, husband of Jinger Duggar Forsyth, recently shared insights into his unique courtship experience, especially the process led by his father-in-law, former Arkansas State Representative Jim Bob Duggar. During an October 16 appearance on the Unplanned podcast with hosts Matt and Abby Howard, Austin opened up about the courtship checklist Jim Bob required all potential suitors of his daughters to complete. #the courtship checklist. Austin, 30, revealed that early in his conversations with Jim Bob, he was handed a detailed relationship checklist. "That was pretty early on," Austin recalled. "He gave me that list and wanted me to fill it out." While Austin admitted that many of the questions were valuable, covering topics such as religious beliefs, finances, and family planning, he also found some of them a bit too personal. "Maybe some of it was not any of Jim Bob's business," Austin noted. He further elaborated, saying, "There's like, have you ever, been arrested? Have you ever, whatever?" And so he knew all that. He knew a lot of that kind of stuff. The Duggar family has long practiced a structured form of courtship, intended to help couples develop a deeper connection while avoiding the pitfalls of typical dating. Their website explains that courtship involves family participation and guidance to ensure important characteristics in a life partner are considered. Jinger's perspective on the courtship process. During the podcast, Abby Howard, 25, asked an interesting question about how many men had been turned away because of Jim Bob's courtship questionnaire. Jinger, 26, responded thoughtfully, reflecting on how her parents' parenting approach allowed room for improvement. "My parents have said, we're gonna have these, the way we parent, we want to be kind of a stepping stool for y'all and y'all figure out how to do it better. I appreciate the idea behind it. "I think I would tweak it some," she said. She also acknowledged the impact of their public life on TV, explaining how their family's standards were widely known. "Because we grew up on TV, people know our standards are out there, what we allow, what we don't allow, what, at least my dad allows. I feel like any guy could have come in and filled out the questionnaire and answered all the right questions and been like, oh, yeah, you're good to go." #meeting Austin Forsyth and childhood memories. Although their courtship became public in November 2016 and they married on May 26, 2017, Joanna revealed that she and Austin had known each other since childhood. Joanna was just 4 years old when she first met Austin, who was 8 at the time. "I have no recollection of that, obviously, but his family had moved from Texas at the time and moved to Arkansas and started coming to my family's church," she explained. Throughout their teenage years, the two crossed paths at homeschool events and social gatherings. Joanna eventually developed a crush on Austin, though he was involved with someone else at the time. Despite this, their relationship blossomed over time, though Austin's journey to winning Jim Bob's approval wasn't easy. Austin admitted that he went through a rebellious phase for several years, which made him somewhat of a wild card in Jim Bob's eyes. His taste in secular music and associations with the wrong crowd initially caused some concern for Joanna's parents. However, over time, Austin earned their trust, and Jim Bob allowed him to court Joanna. Their courtship led to marriage in May 2017, and the couple has since welcomed 3 children, Gideon, Evelyn, and Gunnar. Joanna Duggar Forsyth reflects on postpartum struggles and family turmoil, "The darkest time of my life." Joanna Duggar Forsyth recently opened up about the challenges she faced in the last few years, sharing how difficult her postpartum experience was following the birth of her 3rd child, Gunnar, in May 2023. Appearing on the Unplanned podcast with her husband Austin Forsyth, the former 19 Kids and Counting star became emotional as she recounted navigating motherhood while also dealing with her family's public struggles. During the podcast, Joanna, 26, recalled how her postpartum period after welcoming Gunnar was particularly tough. "With Gunnar, I had a super hard postpartum," she tearfully shared. "It was like the darkest time of my life. It was really good in some ways, but also super hard." She emphasized how the hormonal changes she experienced during this time made everything more challenging. "I felt like my family was just falling apart," she said, adding that she questioned many aspects of her life, including her faith. Joanna's struggles coincided with difficult times within the Duggar family. In May 2022, her brother Josh Duggar was sentenced to 13 years in prison for receiving and possessing child sexual abuse materials.